I'll call the common council meeting to order. Please rise for a moment of reflection, followed by the pledge of allegiance. Pledge of allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, Madam Secretary.
First District, David Ham. Second District, Ronald Brewer. Third District,
Is
Charlie.
he online? Do we?
Yes.
Yes. Can you hear you?
He's muted.
Okay.
Third District, Charlie Brown.
Here.
Fourth District, Pete Lindenmuller.
Present.
Christine Smith.
Here.
Sixth District, Ted Bldg.
Here.
Seventh District, Randy Neemeyer.
Present.
Thank you. The minutes,
Motion to approve.
Second.
motion's been made and seconded. Discussion. All in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion passes.
Madam
I
Chair.
don't know if he's voting.
It says unverified.
Now he's on, he was not muted anymore.
There it is.
There he is.
Oh, okay.
Morning, everybody.
It's 7-0.
Morning.
Sorry.
Awards and resolutions.
Madam Chair, I'd like to move for approval of resolution number 2410, recognizing March as the National Women's History Month.
Second.
Madam Chair, whereas Women's History Month celebrates the often overlooked contribution of women in society, history, and culture, whereas March is selected as the month for observing Women's History Month, correspond with International Women's Day on March 8th. Whereas in the United States, Women's History Month traces its beginnings back to the first International Women's Day in 1911, and whereas in 1978, the school district of Sonoma, California participated in Women's History Day. And in 1980, President Jimmy Carter issued a presidential proclamation declaring the week of March 8th, 1980 as National Women's History Week. Whereas in 1987, after being petitioned for the National Women's History Project, Congress passed publication, let's see, 100-9 designating the month of March as Women's History Month. Now, therefore, let it be resolved that the Lake County Council does hereby recognize March as a National Women's History Month to highlight all of the amazing accomplishments of strong and determined women. So resolved this 12th day of March 2024, signed by President Christine said, myself, Randy Neemeyer, Pete Lindenmuller, Charlie Brown, and Ted Bldg.
Second.
Second.
Ted did earlier.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Okay, any comments?
Yeah, Madam
Mr.
President,
Brown.
look like we just got it under the wire by electing you as the president. And I don't know if we've ever had another female as president of the county council.
Council Lady Franklin.
Franklin was.
Was she? I don't know.
Yes.
Yeah, there might have been prior,
Carol is advising that, yes, Council Lady
Yeah.
Franklin was
President.
but thank you.
It is.
So it might be the third or fourth. But yeah, and congrats. Go ahead, Ray.
Costa or Duquesne?
Yeah, I mean, maybe Fran or Costa was. Terry Barzak used to keep a list of all the presidents of the council. And all the council members. But I want to recognize all the women in the audience and all the women that work for Lake County for all the services you provide and your accomplishments. Before we move on, I do want to recognize that,
You want to vote?
oh, yeah, all in favor, signify by aye.
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 Opposed, motion passes 7-0. I want to acknowledge that we have a new member of our council, Ronald Brewer Senior, who was elected by the precinct organization this past Saturday. So congratulations, Mr. Brewer.
Thank you, I do appreciate
Do you have anything you'd like to say?
Thank you, I do appreciate it. I do look forward to working with the council. I'm en route. I was on a flight coming back from DC that went late, so that's, excuse my tardiness, but I am en route that way.
Thank you. All right, next, proclaiming April as Autism Awareness Month.
Madam Chair, I make a motion to approve resolution number 2411. This is a resolution proclaiming April as Autism Awareness Month and April 2nd, 2024 as World Autism Awareness Day.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded.
Madam Chair, for the record, whereas autism spectrum disorder, ASD, is general term for a group of disorders characterized by difficulties in social interaction, verbal and nonverbal communication, and repetitive behavior. And ASD can be associated with intellectual disabilities, difficulties in motor coordination, and attention. And presently, there is no cure for autism, and there is no one cause of autism. And over the last few years, scientists have identified a number of range genes change or mutations associated with autism. Go Army. Apologize for that. Presently, there is no one cure for autism, and there is no one cause of autism. And over the last few years, scientists have identified a number of rare gene changes and mutations associated with autism. Most cases appear to be caused by a combination of autism risk genes and environmental factors influencing early brain development. And the clearest evidence of these autism risk factors involve events before and during birth, which include advanced parental age at the time of conception, both mom and dad, maternal illness during pregnancy, and certain difficulties during birth, particularly those involving periods of oxygen deprivation to the baby's brain. And these factors by themselves do not cause autism, rather in combination with genetic risk factors, they appear to modestly increase the risk. And World Autism Awareness Day is April 2nd, 2024. Every year, autism organizations around the world celebrate the day with unique fundraisers and awareness raising event. And Lake County is committed to taking the steps to raise awareness of autism. Now, therefore, let it be resolved as follows, that the Lake County Council declares April as Autism Awareness Month in Lake County and celebrates World Autism Awareness Day on April 2nd, 2024 as a special opportunity to educate the public about autism and issues within autism community. So resolved this the 12th day of March, 2024, signed by Councilman Ham, Niemeyer, Lindmuller, Brown, Bldg, and Council Lady Sid as president.
Discussion, comments? All in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion passes 7-0. The next item we are going to postpone until April. I need a motion, please.
So moved.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded to postpone till April 9th, 2024. Discussion, all in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion passes 7-0. Any acknowledgements, Councilman Bldg?
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. I was reached out to by one of our retirees from, I believe, 4D, Janet Gallo, who's suffering some health issues, blind, losing hearing. And I just thought it was pretty amazing because we always complain about the cable company. And I was told that Jim and Matt Holland out of Comcast Portage went there, helped her, hooked her up the TV, gave her a new 40-inch TV when it went out. And I just thought it pretty important to say that I guess there are some good things that Comcast does instead of putting you on hold, making you wait for help. So I just wanted to share that with everyone. I thought it was a really awesome thing to help that person out.
Absolutely, good recognition. Anyone else?
Madam Chair, before
Yes.
we get into the agenda, if Jasmine, if you could just indicate that the Lake County Council met in executive session this morning to discuss the issue of collective bargaining, and that was the only item discussed.
Calumet Township Assessor. Is anyone here online or from Calumet Township Assessor?
Yes. I'm sorry, I'm getting caught up on a couple of things here. Madam Chair, on the assessors, this is Calumet Township. I'd like to defer that to next month's meeting. I had not had an opportunity to talk with the new assessor. I know that there were some of the issues were wages, but also whether or not they actually needed it or wanted it, and I haven't heard back from them, so.
Is there a second to the, defer? Motion's been made and seconded. All in favor, signify by aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 7-0. Auditor.
Madam Chair, I move for approval of a resolution permitting the Lake County Auditor to pay an outstanding 2023 invoice in the amount of $3,664 from the 24 budget.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. Discussion. Roll call, please.
Ham,
Yes.
Brewer,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Linda Mulder,
Yes.
Bilski,
Yes.
Neemeyer.
Yes.
Yes, motion passes 7-0.
Madam Chair, I move for approval of a resolution permitting the Lake County Auditor to pay an outstanding 2018 invoice totaling $532.74 from 2024 budget.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. Discussion. Roll call, please.
Brewer,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Linda Mulder,
Yes.
Bilski,
Yes.
Neemeyer.
Yes.
Ham,
Yeah.
Sid.
Yes, motion passes 7-0. Lake County Recorder.
Madam President, I move to create a new line item in the general fund 1001, 62410, other supplies.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded. Discussion. Roll call, please.
Brown,
Yes.
Linda Mulder,
Yes.
Bilski,
Yes.
Neemeyer.
Yes.
Ham,
Yes.
Brewer,
Yes.
Sid.
Yes, motion passes 7-0.
Madam President, I move to transfer from the general fund 1001 from 62110 office supplies in the amount of $5,000 to 62410 other supplies in the amount of $5,000 for a total of $5,000.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. Discussion. Roll call, please. Oh, never mind. I take that back. All in favor, signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion passes 7-0. Superior Court, Councilman Ham.
Madam Chair, at Department 4001, I move to create the following new line items in Superior Court for this problem-solving court, which is 9426. Line items would be 61290 supplemental pay, 62410 other supplies, 63190 other professional services, and 63235 travel mileage.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. Discussion. Roll call, please.
Linda Mulder,
Yes.
Bilski,
Yes.
Neemeyer.
Yes.
Ham,
Yes.
Brewer,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Sid.
Yes, motion passes 7-0.
On the appropriation, Madam Chair, in Superior Court 4, Fund 9426, move for approval of 61290 supplemental pay $3,000, 62410 other supplies $4,500, 63190 other professional services $6,734.68, and 63235 travel mileage $250 for a total of $14,484.68.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. Discussion. Roll call, please.
Bilski,
Yes.
Neemeyer.
Yes.
Ham,
Yes.
Brewer,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Linda Mulder,
Yes.
Sid.
Yes, motion passes 7-0. Superior Court, Room 2.
In room 2, which is Department 4003, I move to create a new line item, 62290 other supplies.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. Discussion. Roll call, please.
Neemeyer,
Yes.
Ham,
Yes.
Brewer,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Linda Mulder,
Yes.
Bilski.
Yes.
Sid.
Yes, motion passes 7-0.
Move from approval of a transfer from 62110 office supplies, $2,000 to 62410 other supplies in the amount of $2,000.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. Discussion. All in favor, signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 7-0.
And
4D court.
in 4D court, which is 4007, I move for appropriation from the 4D fund 8297. 64420 office machines, $4,000, and 64490 other equipment, $2,000, for a total appropriation of $6,000.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. Discussion. Roll call, please.
Ham,
Yes.
Brewer,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Linda Mulder,
Yes.
Bilski.
Yes.
Neemeyer.
Yes.
Sid.
Yes, motion passes 7-0. Elections and registration.
Madam President, I move to create a new line item for the federal 2023 HAVA Election Security Local Grant Fund 8361, 63310 printing.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. Discussion. Roll call, please.
Brewer.
Yes.
Brewer,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Linda Mulder,
Yes.
Bilski.
Yes.
Neemeyer.
Yes.
Ham,
Yes.
Sid.
Yes, motion passes 7-0.
Madam President, I move for an appropriation of the federal 2023 HAVA Election Security Local Grant Fund 8361, line item 63310, printing in the amount of $89,570.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. Discussion. A roll call, please.
Brown,
Yes.
Linda Mulder.
Yes.
Bilski.
Yes.
Neemeyer.
Yes.
Ham,
Yes.
Brewer,
Yes.
Sid.
Yes, motion passes 7-0.
Madam President, I move for a resolution permitting the Lake County Board of Elections and Registration to pay an outstanding 2020 invoice or debt in the amount of $200 from the 2024 budget.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. Discussion.
Yes.
Yes.
Usually, these late requests are from the prior year. This is from 2020. Why?
From what I recall, I mean, I'll let you speak to it, but I believe that there was somebody that worked in election. It fell behind their desk. They were too ashamed to say anything about it.
Yeah, we've been getting a few of these, and actually you'll have a few more next month. People have been calling us up, as well as we've been checking, and some of them were individuals have lost their check. I believe in this case, someone dropped it behind their counter. They were too embarrassed to call up and ask for a new check. But you've seen in the past where we've had some of these where a parent sometimes takes the check. If you recall, a few years back, we had one that was over 4 years old. They found it in the pocket of the robe of the parent, along with a McDonald's hamburger. Hamburger was still in perfect condition.
Of course.
And, but I mean, sometimes people just find, as they're going through, you know, old purses, whatever the case may be, and find that there's a lost check. Of course, it's outdated.
All right, any further discussion? All right, roll call, please.
Linda Mulder.
Yes.
Bilski.
Yes.
Neemeyer.
Yes.
Ham,
Yes.
Brewer,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Sid.
Yes, motion passes 7-0.
Thank you very much.
Planning Commission.
Madam President, I move to approve the ordinance 2570 Hallmark Construction Company Incorporated, owner Venture One Logistics LLC petitioner for January 31, 24, A1, B2, HS1, and HS2 to a B3 zoning favorable, where there was a favorable recommendation from the Plan Commission.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. Any discussion?
This was a very clean and simple presentation at the Plan Commission meeting. There were a couple of discussion items on intersection improvements, but other than that, it's just very ministerial.
Anyone else? All right. Roll call, please.
Bldg,
Yes.
Neemeyer,
Yes.
Ham,
Yes.
Brewer,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Linda
Yes.
Sid.
Yes, motion passes 7-0.
Oops.
Oh, that's right. Item 2,
Madam President, I move to approve ordinance 2571, an ordinance to amend the unincorporated Lake County Unified Development Ordinance number 2560. I also received a favorable recommendation from the Plan Commission, voted 6-0.
Second.
motion's been made and seconded.
Two.
We've never done that before for zoning.
Yeah,
I know that, but
We've been not doing two.
On the
Last
it's only change you don't do two. If you're gonna change the actual,
UDO.
Then we should do a second reading.
that would be A2. You're changing
The
actual
ordinance.
word. Yeah.
Okay.
yeah, it's changing the ordinance.
Okay, whatever you guys are.
I play longer on TV. I agree with that.
So that was just discussion, right? We didn't.
And was there, did you want
I don't think
to
it
say
is.
what you
Yeah,
wanted here?
okay.
Ed can explain.
These are two items, as I explained at the study session, that were left out of our new UDO, one for placing fill on property and the other for excavation. So we're just trying to put them back in the ordinance. Our consultant apologized profusely for leaving them out, but all we're trying to do is put them back in where they belong.
Okay, so on first reading, is there a motion? All in favor? No, roll call, please. Sorry.
Neemeyer,
Yes.
Trying to think where we're at.
Yes.
Brewer,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Linda
Yes.
Bldg,
Yes.
Sid.
Yes, motion passes 7-0.
Madam President, motion to suspend the rules.
Second.
There's a motion and a second to suspend the rules. Roll call, please.
Ham,
Yes.
Brewer,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Linda
Yes.
Bldg,
Yes.
Neemeyer.
Yes.
Sid.
Yes, motion passes 7-0.
Madam President, motion to pass on second reading.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded to pass on second reading. Discussion. Roll call, please.
Brewer,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Linda
Yes.
Bldg,
Yes.
Neemeyer.
Yes.
Ham.
Yes.
Sid.
Yes, motion passes 7-0.
Thank you and welcome, Councilman Brewer.
Good morning.
Okay, morning, Highway Department.
Sorry, I was distracted by all of our audience leaving all at once. Madam Chair, I move to approve an appropriation from the cumulative bridge fund 4350, 63190, other professional services, $750,000, 63650, cumulative bridge projects, $1,250,000 for a total of $2 million.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. Discussion. Roll call.
In this fund,
What's that?
how much is in this fund?
6 million.
This one is $5 million surplus.
What this represents, we are rehabilitating two bridges and reconstructing two bridges. The projects usually take about 3 to 5 years to completion. Two of the projects are going out for design. Two of them are in construction. It represents $220,000 in a purchase order an encumbrance we had to void because of the current little glitches in getting Oracle to work with the old Lawson system. So we had to recreate that encumbrance. And I can give you the bridges. The bridges are bridge number 363 over Kennedy Avenue over the Harbor Belt Road, Bridge 103 Arizona over Deep River, Bridge 50 on 153rd over Cedar Creek, and Bridge 259 on 45th Avenue.
What do you say with two bridges?
The four bridges, two are reconstruction and two are rebuilding.
Any further comments, questions? Roll call, please.
Brown,
Yes.
Linda
Yes.
Bldg,
Yes.
Neemeyer.
Yes.
Ham, Brewer,
Yes.
Sid,
Yes, motion passes 7-0.
Thank you.
Thank you. Lake County Prosecutor,
Madam President, move to create some new line items in the gun safety education and gun safety locks fund, 9125, 62410 other supplies, 63190 other professional services, 63995 other services and charges, 64490 other equipment.
is there a second?
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. Discussion? Roll call, please.
Linda Mulder,
Yes.
Yes.
Neemeyer,
Yes.
Ham,
Yes.
Brewer,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Sid,
Yes, motion passes 7-0.
Madam President, I move for an appropriation in the gun safety education and gun safety locks fund, 9125, 62410 other supplies in the amount of $1,000, 63190 other professional services in the amount of $4,500, 63395 other services and charges in the amount of $500, 64490 other equipment in the amount of $2,500 for a total of $8,500.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. Discussion?
What is this other professional services in the amount of 45?
That would be for the training to pay for the instructor and then the gun range.
This is instructors from outside of the department.
Yes, we'd be hiring someone who's trained and licensed.
Any other questions? Any other questions? Roll call, please.
Bilski,
Yes.
Neemeyer,
Yes.
Ham,
Yes.
Brewer,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Linda Mulder,
Yes.
Sid,
Yes, motion passes 7-0.
Madam President, move for approval of the grant application and grant approval from the Grant Oversight Committee, U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, American Rescue Plan Act, Indiana Family and Social Services Administration, Division of Aging, Elder Abuse Prevention Interventions Program Grant Award.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. Discussion? All in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 7-0. 40, prosecute.
Madam President, I move to approve an ordinance amending the Lake County 2024 salary ordinance number 1488N, creating 9 new positions for the Lake County Prosecutors 4D Department, Fund 8295, Department 9003, effective upon adoption.
Motion's been made and seconded. Discussion? Roll call, please.
Neemeyer,
Yes.
Brewer,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Linda Mulder.
Yes.
Yes.
Sid,
Yes, motion passes 7-0.
Madam President, I move to suspend the rules.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded to suspend with the rules. Roll call, please.
Ham,
Yes.
Brewer,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Linda Mulder,
Yes.
Bilski,
Yes.
Neemeyer,
Yes.
Sid,
Yes, motion passes 7-0.
Madam President, move to approve the ordinance on second reading.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded to approve on second reading. Discussion? Roll call, please.
Brewer,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Linda Mulder,
Yes.
Bilski,
Yes.
Neemeyer,
Yes.
Ham,
Yes.
Sid,
Yes, motion passes 7-0.
Madam President, I move to create some new line items in the Child Support PCA Fees Fund 8295, 61290 supplemental pay, 61320 FICA, 61330 perf, 63231 travel and registration, 63233 travel lodging, 63630 maintenance and service
Second.
contract.
Motion's been made and seconded. Discussion? Yes, Councilman Brown.
Made a firm commitment at the study meeting that I would not let supplemental pay come out of my mouth.
You just did.
But 233, this has to be an explanation for that amount of money going with supplemental pay. Can we get a brief
Jacob,
explanation?
please.
Yes, so these are for our deputy prosecutors over in 40. In 2018, for our felony and county side, we increased their county general pay. Rather than doing that with 40, we did have the funding available in our 4428 fund. So we did the increases through there rather than going to the county.
That was a lot of comedy to me. That lawyer.
So essentially, as I understand it, this was in a different fund. We're setting it up to be paid in this fund because there wasn't enough money in the other fund.
Correct, yes. Well,
And you're going to reduce it on the other.
yes, out of the other fund, yes.
Well, it's
Correct, Scott?
It's good to hear some non-attorney, a more simplified explanation.
Layman's language.
Anytime.
Any other questions, comments? Roll call, please.
Brown,
Yeah.
Linda Mulder,
Yes.
Bilski.
Yes.
Neemeyer.
Yes.
Yes.
Brewer,
Yes.
Sid,
Yes, motion passes 7-0.
Madam President, I move for an appropriation in the Child Support PCA Fees Fund 8295 61290 supplemental pay in the amount of $233,013. 61320 FICA in the amount of $17,826. 61330 PERF in the amount of $33,088. 63231 travel registration, $3,500. 63233 travel lodging, the amount of $2,500. 63630 maintenance and service contracts, the amount of $10,000. For a total of $2,999, $2,999,927.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. Discussion? Roll call, please.
Linda Mulder,
Yes.
Bilski.
Yes.
Neemeyer.
Yes.
Ham,
Yes.
Brewer,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Sid,
Yes, motion passes 7-0.
Thank you.
On with your meeting.
Yeah, just keep this rolling here. For community corrections,
Page turn.
yeah, yes, it was you last one, wasn't it? Madam President, I move to approve a resolution permitting the Lake County Community Corrections to pay an outstanding 2023 invoice or debt totaling $1,034.35 from the 2024 budget.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. Approve a resolution. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Bilski,
Yes.
Neemeyer,
Yes.
Ham,
Yes.
Brewer,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Linda Mulder.
Yes.
Sid,
Yes, motion passes 7-0.
Now, for these grant applications and approval, before I get into it, Tom, I know that there's been some ongoing discussions. Are we postponing these? What was the discussion? Scott, maybe?
Well, on 1, 2, and 3, those are not really what was discussed at the study session. 4
Okay.
was the one that was discussed, and then we had the supplemental meeting on.
With all numbers?
Use the word supplemental.
With all.
The additional meeting.
Before we're going to postpone? Okay.
Yeah.
All right, for the first one, Madam President, move to approve the Indiana Department of Corrections, Community Corrections and Justice Reinvestment Grant, 2025 CCJR Grant Renewal Application.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. All in favor, discussion? All in favor, signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion passes 7-0.
No questions, Brendan. Looks familiar.
No.
Oh, yeah, you went at the study session. It's great to see you again, Dave Ham.
Madam President, move to approve the Indiana Supreme Court Problem Solving Courts Program 2025 Problem Solving Courts Grant Renewal Application.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. Discussion? All in favor, signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion passes 7-0.
Madam President, move to approve the Supporting Addiction-Free Environments Safe Collaboration administered by Geminis fiscal year 2024 Safe Grant Renewal Application.
Motion's been made and seconded. Discussion. All in favor, signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 7-0.
So just so we're on the same page here, George, we're going to move to postpone this. I know there's some ongoing session that's not going to create any issue on your end. From what I recall at the study session, it was something that there wasn't necessarily a timeliness to it, correct?
There's no time limit necessarily. Approving it could put us in compliance with Indiana Code 11-12-2-2.
Okay.
But that's my understanding of the.
Okay. Well, Madam President, move to postpone till our April, do I need to say the date? 9th
Second.
meeting.
Motion's been made and seconded to postpone. All in favor, signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 7-0.
Madam Chairman, one of the issues that was discussed was whether or not the council would want to see, in the grant agreement, there's a summary budget, but there's also a full budget if the council wanted to review that before the next meeting. George said he could get that for the council.
The full budget is actually currently in the financial system. The appropriations have been set. I have full breakdown of essentially the LC 500 appropriations with me. If I have one copy, Pete, would you like a?
If we could email it, we'll take a look at it.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you. And I'll see you this afternoon.
Yeah.
They got meetings.
See you this afternoon. Yes.
Administrative Services, Parks and Recreation Ordinance.
Madam Chair, I make a motion to approve an ordinance on first reading. Ordinance establishing the Lake County Parks and Recreations Food and Beverage Tax Fund.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. Discussion. Roll call, please.
Require the state of Indiana approving, you have a fund, but as ordinance for, state approved, you're having a food and beverage tax.
We don't have a Maryville, that the state approved Maryville to have the food and beverage, we have to pay it. So in order to pay it, you're gonna have to fund it, pay it.
Yeah.
Which should be.
Any further discussion? Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Meyer.
Yes.
Brewer.
Yes.
Brown.
Yes.
Mulder.
Yes.
Bilski.
Yes.
Sid.
Yes, motion passes 7-0.
Madam Chair, motion to suspend the rules.
Second.
Motion's been made to suspend with the rules. Roll call, please.
Ham.
Yes.
Brewer.
Yes.
Brown.
Yes.
Mulder.
Yes.
Bilski.
Yes.
Meyer.
Yes.
Sid.
Yes, motion passes 7-0.
Madam President, I'd like to make a motion to approve the ordinance establishing Lake County Parks and Recreations Food and Beverage Tax Fund on second reading.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded to approve on second reading. Discussion. Roll call, please.
Brewer.
Yes.
Brown.
Yes.
Mulder.
Yes.
Bilski.
Yes.
Meyer.
Yes.
Ham.
Yes.
Sid.
Yes, motion passes 7-0.
Thank you. Welcome, Councilman Brewer.
Thank you. Good to be here.
Health Department. I was bringing the staples.
Marketing materials?
Marketing materials. Morning, Nick.
Morning, Dave. How are you this morning, Dave?
Fine.
You're looking nice. Health Department creating an ordinance amending the Lake County 2024 salary ordinance number 1488 and establishing a salary increase for 7 food service inspectors in the Lake County Health Department, Fund 1161, Department 39306. I so move.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. Discussion. Roll call, please.
Brown.
Yeah.
Mulder.
Yes.
Bilski.
Yes.
Meyer.
Yes.
Ham.
Yes.
Brewer. Sid.
Yes, motion passes 7-0. There's suspension.
I move for a suspension, I'm sorry.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded to suspend with the rules. Roll call, please.
Mulder.
Yes.
Bilski.
Yes.
Meyer.
Yes.
Ham.
Yes.
Brewer.
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Sid,
Yes, motion passes 7-0.
Madam Chair, I move for the adoption, second reading, the ordinance amending the Lake County 2024 salary ordinance number 1488, and establishing a salary increase for 7 food service inspectors in the Lake County Health Department.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Discussion, roll call, please.
Bilski,
Yes.
Neemeyer,
Yes.
Ham,
Yes.
Brewer,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Lindamotor,
Yes.
Sid,
Yes, motion passes 7-0. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Nate.
Lados, Division 2,
Yeah.
Councilman Ham.
Department 4009, I move for approval of a grant application for the Indiana Department of Corrections, Community Corrections and Justice Reinvestment Grant, Court Risk Reduction Program for the fiscal year 2025.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. Discussion. All in favor, signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed. Motion passes 7-0.
Madam Chair, I move also for approval supporting an addiction-free environment collaboration administered by Geminis fiscal year 2024 safe grant renewal application.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. Discussion. All in favor, signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed. Motion passes 7-0. Economic Development. Councilman Brown.
Madam Chair,
Morning to-
Madam President, I move for the adoption of a grant application and grant approval, grant oversight committee, U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, Community Development Block Grant Program for fiscal year 2024 and CDBG grant renewal application.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. Discussion. All in favor, signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed. Motion passes 7-0.
Madam President, I move for the adoption of a U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development Housing Investment Partnership Program for 2024 grant renewal application.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. Discussion. All in favor, signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed. Motion passes 7-0. Revised 144.
Madam President, the Lake County Development Administration Budget Fund 8170. 12305-001 accountant. Present salary of $52,853. Proposed salary of $48,000 for a difference of $4,853.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. Discussion. Roll call, please.
Neemeyer,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Brewer,
Yes.
Lindamotor,
Yes.
Bilski,
Yes.
Sid,
Yes, motion passes 7-0.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, in Department 4004, which is Superior Courtroom 4. Move for
Three.
Sorry?
Room 3.
Room 3.
Yeah, that's just 11 four. Room 3. Move for approval of grant application to the Indiana Supreme Court Veterans Treatment Court Program for the 2025 Veterans Treatment Court Renewal Grant Application.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. Discussion. All in favor, signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed. Motion passes 7-0. Councilman Brown, Lake County Sheriff.
Madam President, I move for the adoption of a grant application and grant approval U.S. Department of Justice, Indiana Criminal Justice Institute, Victim of Crime Assistance Formula Grants Program for 2024 through 2026.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. Discussion. All in favor, signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 7-0.
For suspension of the rules.
Yeah, there's one.
No, it's just a grant. Good.
Sorry.
All right, Juvenile Detention Center, it's Councilman Brown. Already there.
There's some grant application and grant approvals from the U.S. Department of Agriculture, Indiana State Department of Agriculture for 2023. Systems and Infrastructure Grant, option 1, special equipment.
This one too.
Is that an error? 2023?
Jean Ann, are you online? I don't believe it is. Let me see.
It'll say 2023.
Okay.
And is there?
Beg your pardon?
Jean Ann, are you
Yes,
online?
That is, yes, I'm sorry. I had minimized WebEx. I was listening to it. Yes, that is correct. The federal award to the Indiana State Department of Agriculture is the federal FY 2023 award to the pass-through agency.
Okay. Okay.
I so moved.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. Further discussion? Roll call, please. I mean, all in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 7-0. All right, Councilman Niemeyer.
Trying to find my place again here. 1 second. Yeah. Madam Chair, I move to approve appropriation from the County Cumulative Capital Development Fund 1651 for 63610 Building and Structures for $10,000. 64500 Construction and Reconstruction, $100,000. 64490 Other Equipment, $20,000 for a total of $130,000.
Motion's been made and seconded. Discussion?
Second.
Second. Roll call, please.
Ham,
Yes.
Brewer,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Linda
Yes.
Bldg,
Yes.
Niemeyer.
Yes.
Sia.
Yes, motion passes 7-0. Lake County Commissioners,
Madam Chair, I move to create a new line item in the gambling admission tax fund 1196, 63190 other professional services.
Second.
motion's been made and seconded. Discussion? Roll call.
Is there any breakdown of that? 3 million.
Betches on there.
Matter?
This is Baker Tilly, right?
Yeah, this is for
Yeah.
Baker Tilly and Oracle of optimization.
Okay.
For Oracle, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. No further discussion, roll call please.
Brewer,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Linda
Yes.
Bldg,
Yes.
Niemeyer,
Yes.
Ham,
Yes.
Sia.
Yes, motion passes 7-0.
I move for approval of an appropriation in the gambling admission tax fund 1196, 63190 other professional services, $3 million.
Motion.
Second.
And seconded. Discussion? Roll call please.
Brown,
Yes.
Linda
Yes.
Bldg,
Yes.
Niemeyer,
Yes.
Ham,
Yeah.
Brewer,
Yes.
Sia.
Yes, motion passes 7-0. Ordinance, Councilman Him?
Oh, I'm sorry. Move for approval of an ordinance appropriating bond proceeds received from the Indiana Finance Authority State Revolving Fund.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. I smell coffee. Discussion? Roll call, please.
Linda Mulder,
Yes.
Bilski.
Yes.
Neemeyer.
Yes.
Ham,
Yes.
Brewer,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Sid.
Yes, motion passes 7-0.
Move to suspend the rules.
Second.
Motion's been made to suspend with the rules. Roll call, please.
Bilski.
Yes.
Neemeyer,
Yes.
Ham,
Yes.
Brewer,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Linda Mulder,
Yes.
Sid.
Yes, motion passes 7-0.
I move for approval on second reading.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded to approve on second reading. Discussion? Roll call, please.
Neemeyer,
Yes.
Ham,
Yes.
Brewer,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Linda Mulder,
Yes.
Bilski,
Yes.
Sid.
Yes, motion passes 7-0. Citizens appointments, Crown Point Library Board of Trustees. I open up nominations. Amy Nowasik. Nice.
It's Councilman Niemeyer's district, I believe, right?
Madam Chair, I would like to nominate Amy Nowas, is it Nowacek or Nowasik?
Nowasik, that sounds good.
To the Crown Point Community Library Board of Trustees.
Hearing no, are there any other nominations?
Motion to close nominations.
We don't have to do that anymore.
Yeah, but anyway.
No, that's right, we don't.
Nominations are now closed. Hearing no other nominations, nominations are now closed, and I declare nominee Amy Nowasik appointed to the Crown Point Library Board of Trustees. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Veterans Memorial, who wants to read those?
So what did we just?
Tom, you wanna?
We looked at the ordinance. This is a 2-year appointment on the entire group. It's not staggered. So I think the board's desire, or the commission's desire is to have all 15 appointed at once so that their terms run together.
Would you say that end of that time, I thought it was a matter of we wanted them staggered so they wouldn't lose everybody in between.
That's not what the ordinance reads. The ordinance reads that there are 2-year appointments. And if the ordinance calls for staggering, it'll say this person serves for 1 year, this person serves for 2 years. This ordinance doesn't say that. So.
Madam Chair, I would present the list. If that, please.
Yeah, I hereby open nominations up for Veterans Memorial.
Madam President, I nominate the following 15 individuals for a 2-year term: Mitch Bldg, Timothy Brown, Donna Catalano, Rogelio Dominguez, Donald Ensign, Roger Fowler, Constance Karras, Kent Kalajic, Glenn Croct, Donald Levinson, James Mitros, Jessica Niemeyer, Darren Shaw, Jason Zademan, and Craig Zanstra.
All right.
Is that a Niemeyer relative of yours?
It's Nathan Niemeyer's wife. He's the guy who owns the Niemeyer Landscape Center. So it'll be my second cousin's wife.
Your second cousin, right?
Yep.
Niemeyers are everywhere.
I apologize, Charlie. We're not going away.
I'm South End. Okay, hearing no other, are there any other nominations? Hearing no other nominations, I hereby close nominations and hereby appoint the 15 names. 15 nominees hereby appointed to the Veterans Memorial Parkway Commission.
Thank you very much.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you.
Thank you very much.
See you in 2 years. All right, discussion items, Lake County Health Board expansion. I don't know who put that on the agenda.
You
Or,
and I had talked about it because we wanted to make the public aware of the fact that we have an appointment now.
Oh,
to the-
yes.
To the board, and to see if councilman had people that they knew about that would be interested, or if you wanted to announce it so that if people wanted to apply, they could. And the requirement says that the person has to have knowledge of health issues or just be a member of the general public.
So kind of throws out.
It's pretty wide.
First.
Yeah, it's pretty wide.
Health issues or
Breathing.
Or be alive.
anything else?
Just breathing.
So we have received some interested parties and we'll take a review of those and hope maybe probably place this on the April agenda.
Madam President,
Yes.
did we advertise this at all on the website or anywhere for, since it's kind of a general public available appointment, not specific to the medical industry?
Yeah. We do list our appointments on our council website. But this one I don't think was because it just came about. So I will have Tori do that, make sure that that is done.
So say if not, then how would a person go about submitting their interest or resume? And what sort of process are we following for that?
Yeah, I guess we did receive 3 so far, so the word is out there, but I don't know, probably maybe from the individuals who come to our meeting, maybe
Okay,
once. But yeah,
Thank you.
we'll have Tori put that on the website.
yeah, that'd be great. Thank you.
Resolutions to pay previous year invoices. Yeah, we found out from the State Board of Accounts that something, as long as the budget's approved, we really don't have to do that. Now, we can remain to do it just for transparency. You know, like Charlie had concerns, like why are we paying the 2020 bill right now? So unless someone has a different opinion, we'll just leave things as is. W-2s. Any update on that? Oh, Mark.
Hello.
Morning.
Morning. I was asked to attend to explain this. Well, you want to have any questions first, or you want the tortured past, or how do you want to do this?
You can explain.
Where we're at.
I mean, I understand how mistakes happen. I never had an issue with that. My only concern was I didn't find out, I had already e-filed, done, check in the mail, and I found out Thursday because I got a letter Thursday before our study session, because Wednesday I got a notification that I was one of the people involved. And it's my understanding, Mark, that we knew about this problem a month ago.
No, we didn't know about it. We knew we had a problem. We didn't know we had what problem. That was the problem. We brought in, this revolves around the first 2 pays in 2023. HTC, that you all know, who was our vendor, misconfigured the system. We had a problem with the first 2 check runs. We corrected that. They corrected that. While they corrected that, they created another problem that was a hidden problem that nobody saw. It never reared its head. We got into the W-2 process. They couldn't, we were informed, we hired them specifically for, I hired them on the side to a change order to help us with W-2s with the Oracle system. First time we had dealt with that, it worked different than the law system. They came, they worked with us. They said, okay, W-2s are fine. Let's go ahead and process them. We processed them. We sent them out. Sometime later, within a week or so, we started getting, because we put them out in January, at the end of January. We started getting some calls. We didn't know what was going on. So we brought HTC back in since they were the responsible party. We worked with them for a number of days. They could not answer they couldn't figure out what was going on. In fact, the guy that was working on it actually admitted, I'm not a tax guy. So they had a guy working on it who knew nothing about taxes. So I cut the line. I brought in Baker Tilly. They figured out in 1 day what the process was, what happened, and they fixed it. We sent out corrected W-2s to all of the individuals affected. There was a letter put out by the bookkeepers to each one of the people in their offices that had a problem, explaining what the situation was.
I don't think that happened.
Yes, it did, Tom. Yes, it did.
Well, I'm telling you different. I'm telling you, it didn't get down to the rank and file. I see we have some representatives from the sheriff's department. I know folks were affected in their departments, including JR. He got affected, never got notification on it. I never got notification on it until the day before our study session last week. So my answer is no, that didn't happen. For me, I never got
Okay.
told.
So,
I'm not
never
arguing
got
that it
told.
didn't. What I'm saying, what I'm trying to explain here is we sent out the corrected W-2s to the individuals, and we and the auditor's office put together a letter that was emailed to every bookkeeper and said, would you please distribute this to the people within your office that have problems with their W-2s? Now, I can't speak to the fact if they got that out, but we gave it to them to put out.
The first time it came around with the problem was 2 weeks prior to that. And I was told, nope, there's no issues with yours. You're good. I proceeded because I was holding off because I'm waiting to find out who's responsible to put notification out to the rank and file people working here. We have an obligation to let them know there's an issue prior to, folks filing, because now there could be some hardship created because people are going to have to pay for corrections.
So they got to go, they have to.
So how do we correct that problem?
I
And did the commissioners know? Did you guys notify the commissioners? Because you're not under us, so I appreciate you coming here, Mark, but where did the communication breakdown come? 2-3 weeks ago, I held off on filing, was told there is no issue, file. And after I've signed and he signed and my taxes are now being processed, I get notified. And I'm not looking, I'll pay it. I'm fortunate enough to be able to do that, but there's folks out there that are going to have issues with this. And who's going to be responsible for taking care of that?
I understand your concern.
So that's my concern.
I understand.
Thank you for giving me a minute to say that. I'm done.
How do we identify, or how the persons that had issues with the W-2 identify?
We have them identified.
You have,
We know who they are. That's why we sent their corrected W-2s in specific 919. 19. Right. It had to do with the group term life is what caused the problem. That's what got, for lack of a technical term, jacked up in the beginning of the year with people who had group term life. And they basically planted a bomb inside the system that popped up with W-2s, okay? I'm trying to explain it, as soon as we found it, which took time to find it, we knew there was a problem. And that's when we identified. Now, maybe we could have been more upfront a few days sooner, possible, probably should have. But it took us, once we identified the problem, we had to identify the people and what we were going to do with it. Once we decided on that, that's when we split it out. And I'll
Should have been the auditor, Mark. What should have happened as soon as there was a problem, the auditor's department should have been notified and said, look, we can't get the W-2s out for anyone, everyone employed here on time because there's an issue. Immediately, everything should have put a brick on it until the problem was corrected. I understand there's mistakes. I understand bombs going off. I understand when there's software and computers that problems happen. That's not my problem. That's not my issue. I understand. I can commemorate that there's bad things happen. The breakdown came and no one knew about it until it was already too late. That's the problem I have.
And I will take responsibility for that.
Madam President,
yes.
I agree with Councilman Bldg on this one. I think one of the concerns here is of those 900 and some change, and people have to pay for these corrections. It was a problem created by poor administration of the system, for lack of a better term. It seems this HTC outfit has cost us millions of dollars. I'm not sure what or any kind of remedy might be available on the legal side to this, but I think we need to look at our agreements with them. And I will never vote for another appropriated penny to that company. It's one of the worst vendors I think that we've ever hired here at Lake County, and I haven't been here that long, but the fact that we're putting a burden on our employees who are already not overpaid, and then this continues to be rolled back to HTC. There's either a massive problem with HTC with incompetency or a problem internally here that is being covered up by blaming HTC. So I'm hopeful that through taking responsibility for this, Mark, that we can find a remedy for those 900 and some odd employees who have been wrongfully damaged by this.
And I agree. We've done W-2s here for 23 years. This is the first issue. I understand, we bring up HTC a lot. Scott's worked with them, a number of people there. They were lacking, no doubt about that. I had a conversation with them 2 weeks ago with the heads of HTC and cut them off and told them we're done. We're no longer dealing with them. The only thing we do deal with them is they hold the licenses for this system until the end of their contract, which is the Oracle license, which they funnel the licensing fees directly to Oracle. So we have to still send them those, they send us the invoices and we pay them. But at the end of 25, we no longer do that. Baker Tilly will pick up the licenses. So they are totally out of the picture. They're done. Now, probably should have done it long before that, but when we popped up with this financial issue downstairs, that's when it really started rearing its head that the individuals they were supplying really didn't understand what they were doing.
And we appropriated more money to them last year. And we're just basically, we got a fire burning and we're shoveling money into it.
Yeah, that's more or less what happened, yes.
How are these 900 plus people made aware that they do not have to eat that cost is going to take to correct it?
I don't think that discussion's been, as far as I know.
Councilman Brown, that discussion hasn't happened. The remedy for this has not been discussed. And I think, Scott, you've probably been fielding a lot of these phone calls because they assume it's our problem, even though we have nothing to do with payroll. We have nothing to do with your department, zero. But I think a lot of the questions come to you or Victoria with these issues because we are the fiscal body. So we look responsible, get kind of chewed out about this whole issue over it, and yet knew nothing about it. So it's
So were they
How do we correct it? That
well, were they,
900
yeah,
plus people.
were they mailed, the new W-2s, were they mailed to the home or they were handed out here on the job?
No, we had two categories. We had current employees and terminated or retired employees throughout the year. Okay. The first biggest group, which was current employees, we ran their W-2s, we sent them to, they get them on their phones. They sent all that.
Right.
That's where the letter came in. That's apparently very vague. So, but they got that. On the terminated employees or retired employees, we physically printed the W-2, we put the letter in the envelope and we mailed it to their home. So there were 79 of those.
and if you just triggered an audit, that's.
But I hear Charlie, Ted, Randy, I think we need to do something. If we have to establish a fund, these people are out money
Exactly,
when
yes.
they go to their accountant.
It's happened to me in the past, I understand. Yeah.
I don't care where you go. So I think we need to come up with some monies to cover that cost and give them a X amount of dollars.
Yeah.
Well, I think we need something from the auditor who's in charge of payroll or whoever's in charge of payroll, debt or
Commissioner.
will you work with the audit?
We worked with the auditor during this process. They were well aware of those.
To make
They
some
were
kind
in our
of
office.
recommendation how she's gonna remedy this situation. I don't think it's,
Madam President,
yeah.
I'm in business and I provide service to people. And when I screw up in that service causing damages to my customers, I have to pay for that. At some point, there's got to be some responsibility, the vendor, to the people that they've damaged. And that's our employees. So I agree that a fund needs to be established, a conversation maybe between our attorneys and HTC that within their contract to look at what they owe our people, because it's not the burden of our employees to fix their mistake.
But how do the 900 employees become aware that, yes, you have to pay, Sam, this amount of money?
They send out a notice.
We're going to reimburse you for some process that they don't have to eat that amount.
I think that's what I'm trying to get at, Charlie, is that there's going to be an administrative cost if you go to your accountant to file your taxes, even if you have a very simple return.
It's probably going to be somewhere around $100 or more to refile, to file an amended return. So what I'm saying is that I don't know what's within the framework of the contract with HTC that allows for compensatory claims of damages when they have an error that causes actual financial damage to our employees.
And just as a side note, this may or may not be important, but nobody out of this 919 owes any money. This isn't we owe the IRS.
My favorite.
Yeah, it's an error. They're going to get more in return, but the amount of return isn't going to pay for the cost of getting the refund done.
I can opt not to file it and opt to be in trouble with the federal government for apparently inadvertently not correcting my tax filing.
So are we assured that the 919 persons that had some incorrect information on their W-2 are now aware that there was an error?
Well, apparently, we were under the impression they were, but apparently that is not happened in all these offices. The W-2 they got is a defined W-2C, which is a correction. Now, I mean, we have fielded calls downstairs on this too, and have explained to people over the phone when they ask what's going on. But the letter came from Cenefax and the auditor that went out.
Do all the employees use the online?
No, they
system?
don't.
So that's an issue.
That's one of the problems is
So
we have a
we
great
need
deal
to
of
mail those W-2s out.
we have a great deal of these people who don't use their phones, or even when they get it, they don't know how to print it. It's a little bit above some of these people's heads. So
I've been on this council for over a year. I've never been offered, given, or shown how to gain access to that system. So I can say that, yeah, there's probably quite a few employees like me that don't use the online portal because I never knew it existed.
There was an email sent to everyone on it a while back when it was implemented.
Well,
I know I received the email.
I don't recall that email if it was sent, but I have no access to that.
the process that was put into place for that was the training was held for everybody who attended on how to do this. Not everybody attended, and I think you came on board probably after the training. But then we held specific training on it for the bookkeepers, with the idea that the bookkeepers were going to train their employees on how to do this. And if they couldn't, if there was a problem with them, then they were going to come to us and we would work with them. But apparently Randy didn't get the memo on that end. So,
yeah.
But we can provide.
President, I keep hearing about bookkeepers. How many bookkeepers do we have in this building?
Approximately 80.
Maybe that's one of the problems too. From an overall structural standpoint, there's just too many cooks in the kitchen.
It's something else that kind of blew by, and I'm still unclear about it, that HTC created this problem, but yet they're still going to be doing work for us.
No, they're out.
I thought you said it's 2025.
Well, they hired by the commissioner,
Yes,
right?
our contract was HTC to provide the Oracle system. Within that contract are the licensing fees for Oracle. Nobody ever pays Oracle anything. There's always a side, there's always a third party. Until the end of the contract, they will invoice for those licenses. We will pay them and they will send the money to Oracle. Once that's done, once the contract runs out on that in 25, then those licenses revert over to Baker Tilly and they will invoice for us for the license. We're not paying HTC to do anything other than pass the money that we owe Oracle. HTC isn't getting another dime. They're done. And they've been notified of that in writing and in a WebEx I had with them last week.
Madam President.
Yes.
I would ask that the attorneys, at least to start this discussion that Ted, myself, Dave, Charlie are talking about with the damages to employees, is to review the contract to see what might be available in there from a compensatory standpoint as a way to get this ball rolling. So we're not just bantering in a meeting. And then we kind of move on from there. If there is something there available that can help our county employees, it would be good to pursue that.
Madam President?
Yes.
I know we've been having a lot of fun talking about the deficiencies with Senate facts and order of poll and everything else. Is there any update, Scott, on how we're doing with the discrepancy, the 300 million that we're slowly shrinking with Baker Tilly?
Stuff like that's just a moving target. So they've got down to about $2 million.
Yeah.
They're trying to arrange a meeting with the State Board of Accounts to walk through the reconciliation, they being Baker Tilly, and see if they're comfortable with the status and if they can just move forward with what they have. If not, then they're gonna have to take that $2 million down to zero.
Basically put a journal entry in and then start moving forward from there, or?
It's, I mean, for full transparency, the system showed $600 million, approximately $600 million worth of cash balances. Treasurer's office had $300 million. So they're taking large chunks of suspected errors and categorizing them to reduce that variance. This type of work's not fun to perform. I've done it before in my prior life, and sometimes you think you have the answer solved, and then you realize you didn't, and it gets worse.
Right.
So I think until it's fully completed, I think that's the only thing you can really speculate or confidently state, you're done, and give a timeline. So originally they were pushing for March 1st. We're past March 1st now. And they're looking to meet with the State Board of Accounts and get them comfortable with a $2 million variance.
Would you say that ongoing from month to month now, that there's a lot more consistency, or are we still just every month just all over the place? I don't even know if you have an answer.
Yeah, I can't even answer. I really don't understand the question.
No, I mean, like, if we see there's a discrepancy, and we can identify that, like when we close out March.
Oh, we're not even there. They're still looking at 20.
Is there light at the end of the tunnel? Maybe that's what Charlie said. We think the same way. Are we getting there, or are we just no better off than we were 6 months ago? Seems like we're no better off. I mean, this seems like this problem just perpetuates.
The problem isn't isolated to the variance.
Right.
Right. The problem is, we need to address the roots of the problem. And until that's really addressed, you're never going to get away from.
So basically building a 2-story house on a foundation that was set up for a one room ranch.
Can you present, and Ted pointed out that this is all the commissioner's issue. But we need to know, how can this be corrected and who is going to correct it?
So the variance in 2022. It's hard to answer these questions without toasting some people, right? So
get after it, Scott.
Yeah, and I'm not into politics. So go. The short story is, you have a deficiency in skill sets in the auditor and treasurer's office. That's your root cause, and that's why you ended up with the situation you have, because no one who has a skill set would have allowed the system to go live at July 1. It wasn't ready. That's why you hear people say, well, we didn't have the reports. We didn't have the training. Well, when you change a system, you've literally changed how people have to accomplish their job.
Never went live.
Right. So, and there's also a large testing window called user acceptance testing that either occurred or didn't occur.
We don't even know if they did that.
Right. Either way, regardless, if it clearly wasn't sufficient because it appears all the testing that occurred while we went live. Baker Tilly, just to give you an example, Baker Tilly, in order for them to attempt to resolve this variance, they had to create reports to help themselves. So to get the information and data they needed, they had to go into the system and say, hey, we need to extract what's in the system. We can't even do that right now. So they've had to build out processes on their own.
Sure.
And so we're a long ways from home. This is a multi-year issue. This isn't going to be fixed overnight.
Right? From a historical standpoint, we weren't ready to install Lawson in 1999. They're the same exact problems 23 years ago when we put the Lawson system in that we faced going into Oracle. Same thing.
Madam President,
Yes.
and if I'm not mistaken, the changeover from Lawson to Oracle included inaccurate balances in Lawson.
Correct, exactly.
So we essentially changed over to a system with some garbage information, so the garbage in, garbage out still applies here. And, but again, at the end of the day, I think we need a full-scale review of that contract. We need to determine, at least starting from the W-2 standpoint, some immediate damages, and maybe look deeper into this thing, because it seems like we are going to be on the hook for millions of dollars, taxpayers of this county. And that to me is not right. We're being put in this kind of position by incompetent training and vendors and transfer of information. So this just, we have to continue to pursue it.
Just one other point. I mean, people hang their hat that, oh, the past was audited. Well, true, it was audited, but
It was never balanced.
the state board identifies issues, but they don't have any means to force us to be compliant. And in my 4.5 years here, we've had a habit of waiting until someone tells us something's wrong and then maybe we'll fix it. We're not very proactive in our approach. In my prior life, in the private sector, you constantly were proactive reviewing your financial controls and mitigating those. And then you would bring those to your auditor saying, hey, we found our own deficiencies. And you build that rapport in that relationship. We're anything but that. I mean, it's probably not uncommon for any government, but
no, it's,
I walk out of this building often talking to, I sit here and talk to myself, listening to some things, but I mean, after what I've seen process wise, corrections, community corrections, they have some interesting stuff going on over there, despite this grant approval exchange that we had on Thursday. I don't know why an employee has been reimbursed several $100,000 since 2015. It's probably above board, but it's not a control that you would want while on your payroll. $350,000 someone's been reimbursed.
Thank you for your candor on this, Scott.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. We need this kind of information.
Yeah, it's transparent.
Is Fetch online or no? Okay, so we'll get with Fetch and take a look at that contract.
But is there a simplistic way for me as a layperson that has a responsibility? Can they get a document from someone that says, in order to even begin to correct this, you have to do A, B, C, D? I mean, that's what seemingly is missing. We in a cesspool of this stuff has been going on. We hear now that Lawson wasn't correct when it passed it on to Oracle. But no, I haven't heard yet. I heard Scott say it's going to take years to correct it, but where's the starting point with getting a handle on this thing?
Yeah, I don't think it was said that Lawson wasn't, the financial system in Lawson's were not correct. When
That's true.
That's
true.
That's true. We brought in
Yeah.
total garbage in Lawson into total garbage.
Lawson was the problem.
It was,
Yeah.
and that's when we dug our own hole with that one.
To help answer that,
Okay, well.
one of the steps forward is the auditor's office is hiring a comptroller with specific skills, CPA, MBA, X amount of years experience. That's the start. Hopefully that doesn't become a political hiring, and then they can also hire a couple other skilled individuals. That way you have the knowledge and skills within the auditor's office that can help finish the job. That's why I say it's going to take years. The sooner you get that skill set lifted in both offices, and someone can go talk to them, and if I'm the treasurer or auditor, I'm really mad at Scott right now for saying that, because my people
And it's gonna take some time for the comptroller to.
So you got to get them up to speed,
Become, yeah.
et cetera. And and my retort back to that, if everybody was so highly skilled, we wouldn't be in the spot we're in, right? We wouldn't be talking about this if everybody was capable of delivering what we're told they're capable of delivering. So unfortunately, we got to start with one person and then build the team, and however long it takes to get them up to speed. And we have Baker Tilly behind the scenes propping us up, and as much as they can with the resources that they have. But at the end of the day, it is a dumpster fire. I mean, that's literally what it is. It's a dumpster fire.
For example, Charlie, in looking at this thing globally, we have all these various elected officials and department heads in the county government center. They all kind of do their own thing. I mean, for example, when I went to visit the warden at the jail, how do you keep track of your time? Stacks of papers. I thought I was going to see the Tyrannosaurus Rex behind it. Okay, so we've got to start getting everything kind of into a system that you can have checks and balances and controls, and you don't have all these different people doing all these different things. There's got to be something that creates a singular direction. I'm not a big fan of consolidation of things, but at some point there has to be a meeting of the minds, and we've got to get to that point of one direction, one system, one way to input information, one way to access it, and that'll help this whole system from an accountability standpoint.
How do we take politics out of politics? I mean, it appears that the big problem is that people are hired because of who they know as opposed to what they know.
Correct.
And how do we stop this? And hey, we got to, you can't just hire A because you want to hire A. A has to bring certain skills.
Civil service exams. That's your answer. We tried 17 years ago, talked about it. Civil service exams.
I think Scott's on the right track though with his comptroller's position as a template. You have a specific skill set and credentials attached to that person. So if you're going to have positions within financial management.
Who protects that person? Because they're going to get their head chopped off.
Well, yeah, and that's kind of why I went back to 2 years ago about my contract about having severance pay, et cetera. Because I believe, and that's not self-serving, sure, call it self-serving, call it what you want. But even if someone, takes this role after me, you have certain key roles in the county that you need to attract the right talent and you need to want them to stay. But they also need to be protected. Protected meaning there's got to be a severance. I mean, it's an insurance policy, it's a severance package. So if I leave NiSource, which I did to come here, I know, I mean, at least politically, I can say the wrong thing, which someone can construe anything as the wrong thing and just get rid of me for no reason. And I don't really have any recourse on that. For a role like mine, where I just said the people in the auditor's office and the treasurer's office don't have the skills capable of running this. I could be gone. So if I'm gone tomorrow, that's what happened. It was that's why I think you have certain roles where severance is warranted. Now, it can be abused much like anything else, is around here. But I think there are certain roles that are skilled that we would have to identify from an executive and legislative body to say those should have some type of severance program to attract them. Much like in corporate America. I mean, you hire a CEO and CFO, you hear about golden parachutes all the time. It's not looking to reward and shower me with millions or anybody else with a large amount of money. But that's really the only way you're going to get skilled people in some of these roles, along with paying them competitive salary. But otherwise, you're going to end up with what you have.
It starts to me with identifying what positions are needed, clearly establishing job descriptions with credentials and education tied to them that are financial related experience, and then creating that administrative sort of business model that puts in place a working model that will attract and retain that type of talent in each department.
Tom, I'm about to make a recommendation to the president, but I'm back in the back of my head thinking about this new rule that more than one or two council persons or commissioners can meet without it being a public meeting. It appears as though we need to find two council persons as well as a commissioner to sit with attorneys from both bodies to say, and our finance people to say, should be our starting point of trying to ferret out all of this craziness that's been going on.
Well, I think there is already a recommendation made for the attorneys to look at the contracts, and then I think we'll take it from there.
Great starting point.
Yeah.
Ted and I have been wanting a contract for Scott, what he's.
Oh, I think we're talking, speaking of.
That's cool, but I don't want to
Oh, okay.
skip over this.
No.
Since he brought it up and Scott's 100% right. And am I right, Tom?
Yeah.
Ted?
Yeah, we've had a draft of one for a long time.
Yes, we have. So,
I'm ready
So,
on that.
Millions of dollars.
Yeah.
So with respect to what you're saying, paid from commissary.
Commissary.
Let's just advertise. But if you want to put together a committee of three, just advertise the meeting.
yeah, you just have.
Or if you want to have president, talk to the president of the county commissioners and the auditor and.
Yeah, I could do that.
They could do that.
I could do that.
I could be president.
Yeah.
Matt could be president.
I would enjoy a public meeting on this subject. I think it might be fun.
All right, any further discussion on this item? All right.
I don't want this
Yes.
to dangle. We've got to walk away from this. We don't have, other than saying that you are gonna look at the contract. How do we get back to trying to resolve this whole thing? Yes.
Well, I'll meet with the commissioner and their attorney, the president of the commissioners and the attorneys. And we'll look at the contract and we'll see what resolve, how
We'll put it on the
and
agenda
then we'll
for
put
next.
it on the agenda.
That sounds fair. The board of commissioners would adopt the civil service exam that would, that
We're talking two different items.
ways.
I think we're speaking of two different items. I'm
No,
speaking of the W-2s.
This is, I think Councilman Brown was saying about the hiring practice. How do we get out of this? How do we address these?
Oh, is that?
We have a program that was in place and studied with pay band system. I've discussed it with Scott, as well as civil service exam pay band system, meaning that based on your skill and ability level, there's like almost very similar to what the government does, GS1, GS2, GS3 type thing. So that information's out there. Commissioners have it, HR has it. I stand corrected, Madam Chair, but I don't think we have any authority to implement it.
Yeah, it's not our section of government to do what the commissioners do, but I think when it impacts financial, what we're dealing with here, we've got to figure out where we can have a meeting of the minds. Something has to
The
start
council
making
has to
sense.
remember what problems we own.
Right.
Yeah,
Okay, that's priority one. You got it. The auditor is the chief financial officer of the county by statute.
Yep.
Right.
You got to figure out who owns the problem. You can't, I mean, I'd like to see everybody solve everything, but there's lines of demarcation here where people can have authority and people don't. And this W-2 problem is not a Lake County Council problem. I'm going to tell you that right now. I appreciate that we're trying to get to the bottom of it because we do have the ability to investigate things.
Correct.
When we start investigating it, suddenly we own the problem. And that's what I don't want my clients to do.
But in defense of investigating it, the auditor doesn't have a public meeting where these things are talked about.
Sure.
And ferreted out. So this is the only venue where we can really jump into this and try to right things that are wrong is either the commissioners or the council has to do some work at digging into it so we can point people in the right directions.
Agreed.
And some of the lines, Tom brings up a great point in terms of who's has levels of responsibility. The lines are now being blurred because people coming to me with Oracle and effectively somehow I own the whole problem now. You know, I know how that happened, but it's now I'm the leader of Oracle. I had people in my office on this W-2 issue. You should see my inbox.
Congratulations, Scott.
Thank you. I aspired for this for sure. Yeah. But so that's where I think lines kind of get blurred a little bit because now people are going, oh, go see Scott, go see Scott. Well, he works for the council. And then that gets dangerous because they're like, I talked to Scott. They throw that around like there was some, like I have some major approval.
Some authority.
I have nothing in terms of decision. You know, you guys make the decisions, but people start, using that as some leverage. And it's
And all of this,
starting to get out of hand, actually.
all of this impacts, in my opinion, the fiscal health of the county, which is our job to manage here. So that's why I think it's worth diving into some of these, trying to figure out how we can direct some traffic.
All right, anything else? All right, public comment.
Ray, real quick.
Oh, sorry, Ray.
Just to let you know, you do have a right, statutory right to investigate, just similar to a congressional committee. You also have the right to subpoena. I've been involved in two of those, and the subpoena issue was resolved 15 years ago in Judge Kansas court, where he ruled the county council under the statute has the right to subpoena. We subpoenaed some interesting people and some important people. And you may, and the purpose of your investigation is for knowledge to adopt legislation that's going to help the county. That would be your purpose. Because it's county government is what you're investigating. So I believe what Tom, I agree with Tom has said about owning the problem. This isn't your problem and you don't want to own it. However, you do have the authority to make some changes in the county law.
Someone has to take ownership of something.
That's another.
Right now, there's none.
That's another truism.
Yeah.
Okay. Public comment. Anyone, public wishes, please come forward, state your name for the record.
Thanks for your patience, by the way.
Yes, thank you.
Oh, and thank you for having this honest discussion at public meeting. Appreciate that. My name is Connie Wachala, and I'm a member of Highland Neighbors for Sustainability. We're a group of volunteers in Highland with a community approach to a sustainable and resilient future. We're working with a group called Green EC to host an Earth Day event in East Chicago's Washington Park on April 20th. That's a Saturday from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. And we invite you to come out that day. Other communities in the county also have sustainability groups, and some of those are hosting Earth Day events too. So Munster Sustainable and Green will have theirs on April 20th at Heritage Park. Citizens for a Sustainable Hobart are having a cleanup day. Brown Faces Green Spaces in Gary are hosting theirs April 13th, a beach cleanup at Marquette Park, and an event at the Douglas Learning Center. Whiting Robertsdale Environmental Neighbors, nicknamed WREN, will have a downtown cleanup. And we're working on starting a group in the Tri-Town communities. To give you an idea of some of the outreach that we have made, this is in February. A group of 7 of us attended the IDEM meeting at the Gary Public Library and gave public input on that agency's pollution reduction action grant, action plan. 6 of us attended a NERC committee meeting to hear about the agency's Sensible Tools Handbook, which gives best practices on such topics as sustainability and resilience in Northwest Indiana. On February 2nd, 4 of us met with Congressman Mervan's staffer, Elizabeth Johnson, to discuss environmental concerns. That's the day after the BP refinery shut down and caused flaring. The shutdown required release and flaring of heavy smoke drifting for miles. February 9th, 5 of us went to Indianapolis to attend the Indiana Sustainability and Resilience Conference. One interesting item discussed was the creation of the Indiana Energy Independence Fund, basically what they call a green bank. That, along with the Indiana Resilience Funding Hub, helps Indiana communities apply and get federal money to work for a cleaner environment. On February 13th, 6 of us attended Renewable Energy Day in Indianapolis. And that is, I went with several colleagues, including Tim De Silva from East Chicago and Grace Tafoya from Gary. We talked to our state legislature representatives and senators. I met with Senator Durnell and Representative Andrade to discuss renewable energy legislation. On February 22nd, many of us, including Tim and Grace, attended the item permit renewal hearing for the refinery That was held at Calumet College. On March 11th, 4 of us met with Cleveland Cliffs representatives, Mike Long, Chrissy Foreman, and Rayanne Trakos, to talk about their efforts to decarbonize in a responsible way. And on March 21st, 16 of us across District 1 will meet with Congressman Mervan's legislative director to talk about what we're doing in our many communities to promote a sustainable and resilient future. And the Purdue Climate Change Center has models of future weather for each county in Indiana. In Lake County, it says by 2050, we'll have more hot days with hotter temperatures. We'll have an average of 30 days over 95 degrees, and with the average hottest day of the year being at 105 degrees. We'll have a wetter spring, 16% increase in rain. I don't know, it's not so funny. I'm almost done. What's the county doing? What are you doing to conserve and protect our land and water, to lower greenhouse gas emissions and pollution in county government operations? IU Resilience Institute has a program to help you do that, and to plan for extreme weather events.
And the rest go energy.
I also have a petition of over 50 people signing. I came last year, a year ago, and gave you a petition where people signed it at the Munster Earth Day event. This is from September 16th, the Monarch Festival in East Chicago. We asked people to sign the petition to the Lake County Council and the Lake County Commissioners, asking for you to, consider conservation. And then here's the Lake County Purdue Climate Center information. I'll give that to the recording secretary with my remarks, and I'll introduce you to Tim and Grace.
Yes. What's your name again?
I'm Tim DeSilva. Hello, everyone.
Tim DeSilva?
Yeah, Tim. I'm an ecology major at Purdue Northwest, and I've worked in conservation for 4 years in the region. Through the Student Conservation Association, I planted many saplings and maintained them in that Tri-City area. And the SCA is the major supplier for trees in those cities, East Chicago, Gary, Whiting. I appreciate the new environmental efforts that this council have supported in the past, but I believe that there are things that we can all do to improve. And one of the biggest things on this list is outreach to the youth, which events like this Earth Day event in East Chicago will inspire. When I was young, there was never a lot of focus on environmental science and sustainability in East Chicago. And as you guys know, it's an extremely polluted area due to the steel mills and several other polluters like Praxair Lind and BP in the area. And it's not just East Chicago, but Lake County as a whole, I believe, can show more focus toward sustainability and teaching it to children and people in high school, people that can actually change the future and put these practices to good use because of the oncoming climate crisis, which, as you guys, I know you've heard of by now, needs to be addressed. Thank you for taking the time out of your day to listen.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Grace Tafoya. I'm a environmental science and policy major at Purdue University. And I'm here to bring you 2 problems in Lake County to your attention. One of the present problems is the dying wetlands in our area, or the wetlands that are being overcome with invasive species. I know recently there was a bill in the House that supported the development of a lot of the wetlands in Lake County, which was supported by a lot of our Lake County officials, sadly. And it brought down protections from Class 3 wetlands, which protects some of the last green space we have in Lake County. And a lot of it has been destroyed by Phragmites, such as an overcoming mono-invasive species that kills all the plants around it. And wetlands you should be concerned about because they store twice as much carbon as a forest per acre. And they help with filtration and flood mitigation. So a lot of the flooding issues that we have from all the concrete that we have that does not absorb water, a lot of wetlands will help by absorbing water and filtrating that water, especially with problems like polluted water in Gary and East Chicago and Hammond from BP getting that $40 million fine from putting benzene in our water. I don't have access to clean water, and this is one thing that I care about. And as a Lake County citizen, I would like for you to show some more concern about the wetlands we're losing because they have 30% of Indiana's endangered species living amongst them. And a lot of our birds rely on them. Our pollinators rely on them. There are tons of farmlands in Lake County that rely on these pollinators to survive, to continue having their food produced. So I would like for you to care about the wetlands and for you to care about our Clean Water Act and to care a little bit about conservation in our area. Even if you don't believe in the climate crisis, it's still important to take care of the green space we have left before all of Indiana becomes industrialized. Thank you.
Thank you. Madam Chair?
Yes.
Just briefly, we have worked in my time up here, which has been a long time. Amoresco energy saving grants. So in this building, we only have a certain number of resources, and we have truly dedicated those resources to eliminating escalators. So water conservation has been something in here regulating all the water consumption in this area, in this building. The report is available online through Amoresco, and so we have taken those steps. And earlier on, when Jim Basello was here, our county parks, I think out of the 92 counties that exist in the state, find one that is exemplary as our park with securing and green space, our parks, the dedication this council and fiscal bodies made on taking care of that. And third and foremost, if you have an opportunity, there's going to be next month or the following, we're in the process of developing vertical indoor gardenings in conjunction with Judge Stefaniak. What was approved in today's council was a walk-in cooler to help distribute that and distribute it to food pantries. So folks with chronic will be partnered up with the health department, hopefully, if we dovetail into their grants to provide folks with chronic illness those plants and those vegetables that are needed. This will be a service. We're not looking to make money. Folks will be able to drive up there. They'll get it through food pantries. They'll be distributed for free. How we can make some money on this to help sustain the program would be restaurateurs. Once we get a brand, if they like our product, then we would have that. But those are some of the positive things that are going on. So, and it's always room for improvement. There's always, we always have to watch. But I don't want for anyone in the public to think that we have turned a blind eye and haven't done anything as a fiscal body. This is my 17th year. And right when I got on, we started with these energy savings, which all these things are on the taxpayer's dime. You know, so I just wanted to make sure if you weren't aware of them, and that information is available to you as well. But I do appreciate you coming.
Where is the vertical gardening?
Pardon? What is it?
The vertical, where?
It's open.
And we are partnered up because we needed space. And Judge Stefaniak, so on here on 93rd, we have existing greenhouses. We'll be building 2 more. Hopefully some of our folks from Northwest Indiana Building Trades. So right here on the north side of the building, 93rd Avenue, we have the capability in the prototype of just in one version, maybe 1,000 heads of lettuce a month.
That's great.
And so these are great things that are coming up, or they'll be out there. We've had commitment from other council members that have helped out in getting some of that ARP money out there to really, you know, help feed, help maintain, take care of these things, because you are correct. And maybe we won't be able to grow outside. So this is the future. But the biggest part of this, if you can make it to the presentation, is we're partnering with Strax and produce companies. Purdue, to get help from Purdue, we have that partnership form. We'll be able to train young folks to handle produce and job opportunities working in produce departments such as Strachan, Van Til, and a few others. And I don't have.
How do we find out where the presentation is?
We are shooting to get it on the April agenda, but it might not be until May.
Oh, well, thank you. And we do work with Jim Basala. You know, I've worked with him. And yes, the Lake County Parks do a great job. Thank you for all of that. We'll we'll be back, just so you don't feel picked on, we're going to the Lake County Commission meeting too. Let them know.
Give it to them guys.
We will.
Good, I was worried.
Thank you.
I just wanted to say thank you for everything you've done. I'm just here purely to also remind us about the support for the wetlands, because we did recently have a bill passed that was taking away the classifications that made lands qualify as a wetlands. So thank you.
Absolutely.
But I appreciate everything you've done so far.
We appreciate you.
Anyone else in the audience? Yes, please come forward, state your name.
Thank you. My name is Barbara Catellus from Hobart. Councilman Brown, you just made a statement that I absolutely 100% agree with, that sometimes people are hired because of who they know and not what they know. And, you know, I've talked about this before, the appointment process. And I actually did not know until I looked at the agenda today that the council appoints to the Board of Trustees of the library. I didn't know that. And I do know at least 3 retired librarians who would love to be considered for a spot on the board, maybe the next one. But how they would know about it, I do not know. The Indiana State Board of Health recently increased the number of members on the health board from 7 to 9. And the political makeup of that board is supposed to be no more than 5 members from one party and 4 on the other. I hope someone is checking that when this happens. And I think they have that political requirement for a few other boards too. I don't know which ones, but you know, that needs to be checked.
Well aware.
You did mention, Councilwoman Sid, that you did get some applications for the health board positions, and you didn't know how you got them. It was because when I went to the last commission meeting and I spoke about the appointment process afterwards, I was speaking with Commissioner Repay and Tippy. And I said, well, what if someone does want to be on the board? What do they do? And they said, well, just tell them to send their application to us. Okay, so I told people that I knew, you know, our group has about 3 dozen people that some are in the medical field, some aren't, but those applications you got were probably those people. But I've always thought that the county council's on the cutting edge, as evidenced by live streaming their meetings, et cetera, and the spirited debate that we get to see. I do hope that you'll be able to figure something out in the future about making people aware that there are vacancies, what the qualifications are, because there are so many talented people in Lake County. Almost 500,000, and 99.9% don't know anything about these. You know, you could have really talented people that are missing this. So, but I know you'll take care of it. Thank you very much.
Anyone else in the audience?
Madam Chair, motion.
Yes.
There's no.
Motion's been made and seconded.
Second.
Do you have something to say?
I was just gonna welcome our new
Oh,
council.
that's true. You know what?
All in favor, signify by aye.
Welcome to Councilman Ron Brewer.
Oh, yes.
For the record, you should show that he's in attendance, please.
Well, he was online, so he was shown, you're in
Yeah.
attendance today,
But he's
the first meeting.
Let
Yes,
me
let me give
say,
you the floor.
Thank all of you all. I'm looking forward to working with each and every last one of you and the citizens that I do represent. It's a pleasure to represent the 2nd District of the Lake County Council. So I look forward to doing great things with you all. Thank you.
Welcome, same here.
Thank you.
Right. Motion still stand to adjourn, the second. All in favor, signify by aye.
Aye.
Aye.